11:16 is the time here in the WHIP studio. Zach Gelb and Mike Zahn here with you, rolling along until noon Eastern time, where the Temple Sports Hour will come your way. We'll be joined at 11:40 by Kerry Kittles, the all-time leading scorer at Villanova, to talk a little Final Four. But first, we're going to look back at the football season this year and also talk about an incredible dodgeball tournament that's happening on campus tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. at the Pavilion, and the proceeds will go to the Multiple Sclerosis Research and Awareness. And that, of course, now joining us, helping promote that cause and talking a little Temple football with us is former Temple football player Brandon Chudnoff. Chud, great to see you. How are you?
Yeah, Zach, man, and Mike, thanks for having me, boys. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about football. I just came from practice. I mean, just seeing the guys really working hard down there. Even after the 2015 season, I know every single one of those guys want to come back and win a championship this year. Having lost the Houston game and then the bowl game after that, even though we had a historic season, I know everyone on the team they want more, you know. So
what happened in those final two games? Because you guys were really, playing some great football. You had the Notre Dame game where it came down to that final pick by Russell, and a lot of people were confident heading into that Houston game, and you guys didn't play well. And then the bowl game, I just don't know what happened in the bowl game. So what happened in those final two games?
I mean, all season, really, I think what this season set us apart from the last couple years was just guys really focusing on their job and really just their responsibilities on the field. You know, Coach Rule taught us since we were freshmen that you don't have to do anything extraordinary. You just got to do your job, know what your responsibility is on the field, and like I said, you don't have to do anything out of the ordinary. Just be really, really good at what you do. And if your responsibility is, I'm a defensive end, if my job was just to cover the C gap and rush the passer, then I'm going to be really, really good at that. I don't have to worry about dropping back or anything else. I just want to be really, really good at just that job. And if everyone has that same mentality, be really, really good at their job, then the team's successful. I mean, so throughout the season, we tried to keep that mentality. And then towards the end there, unfortunately, it broke down a little bit. It was a long season. We had one bye week at the beginning, and then we went straight through week after week after week. No bye weeks, guys getting injured, guys getting nicked up. At the end there, we had Alex Wells down. Tavon was banged up. A bunch of other guys were banged up. Even towards the end of the season when we played Notre Dame, Kyle Friend was banged up. We had McGowan he had to play for a little bit for Kyle Friend, and he stepped up. I mean, we had a lot of young guys step up, so that was good to see. But as far as the end of the season, I know that we'll come back strong. This 2016.
And it's because this year with Temple football, it was remarkable to see the way that it has transformed from your freshman year all the way now, how many people were at the link. It was just a fun season, and hopefully it lays a foundation to set a standard for future years that, hey, this is what it's supposed to be like, but let's go win a conference championship game. Let's get to a bowl game as well. But you're now a former player. Is it just crazy how quickly that time went back? And do you get all a little bit odd when people say former Temple football player Brandon Chudnoff?
Yeah, I mean, football, I mean, has always been a part of my life. Now it's like, oh, crap, I got to get a job now. I got to go finish grad school now.
Got to be a real person.
Got to be a real person, Definitely everything I learned from football has helped me out for as far as adversity through grad school and finding jobs and stuff like that. But being part of the program with Coach Rule and the standards that he set for just for all of us on and off the field, I think that anyone that's been in the program the last couple years is going to be successful in life. So.
We're talking to a former defensive end for the Temple Owls, as we had mentioned, former defensive end. That's obviously a little tough to say, Brandon Chudnoff. And, Brandon, just getting to a little bit of a personal side, you were a game captain in the UCF game in honor of your mother, who's a breast cancer survivor. So just walk me through the emotions that went through on that day.
So for the UCF game, my mom has come to every single game. Actually, both of my parents have been in every single game since I was a freshman. So they've always made time. It being that month being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it always hits home because my family has been affected by it for the past 10 years or so. I mean, my mom's proud to see me out there and representing her. She's been through a lot. She's fought through adversity, and everything she's fought through, I try and fight through too. So if she can go through the battle that she fought, I can do the same thing every day and day in and day out on the football field the past season, and then now, as far as class and work, really just attack it the way she would. So.
Now, what's the best advice either a coach or a teammate of yours taught you throughout your ultimately 5 years here with Temple on the football team?
I would say Coach Rule had sat us down in the meeting, and it was one of the meetings after the 2013 season, after the SMU loss. And at that point, the only game we had won that season was the Army game. But obviously since then we've gotten better. But yeah, we sat down in the meeting after that, and he read us a speech. And the one quote I got out of that speech was, I will persist until I succeed. And that's really been sticking with me for the past 3 years now. And in the locker room, he would put up signs, I will succeed until I persist. And that speech is from a businessman. Really, in that world, every sale is based on, or everything's based on the sale. So you go out, you got to attack different clients, get as many sales as possible. Sometimes you get denied, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're successful, sometimes you get a dry spell. That's just like on the football field. Sometimes you won't make a good play. Sometimes you got to bounce back from that, and you really just got to stay persistent throughout, and eventually you'll succeed. So,
this season, though, you take a look back at it, and you have that leadership in a guy like a Matt Rule, who came in here his first year, like you were saying, only had 2 wins, but remained loyal to the program because he obviously knows this program's roots being here under Al Golden. And then the next year you guys start off the year, you beat Vanderbilt, you get snubbed out of a bowl game, and then that really set a lot of hunger in your guys' stomach to have a really impactful senior year. And then this senior year you beat Penn State to start things off, and then you get College Game Day. Take me through the emotions of beating Penn State, and then when you found out that College Game Day was coming to Temple's campus, because when I was a freshman, thinking beating Penn State wasn't a possibility and having College Game Day, if someone told me that when I was a freshman, I'd have said, you're freaking crazy. So take me through those two emotions of those two events.
Well, this being our senior year, what a way to go out with such a historic season. I mean, when we played Penn State, that was the first game of the season. So from that last game that we played Tulane the season before, we immediately, when we came back from break, our minds were on getting better, getting ourselves stronger, faster, making sure that we know the plays, playbooks, and beating Penn State for that first game. As far as the rest of the season, we always go week by week. We don't look ahead. And the times that we do look ahead, you would see maybe we weren't as successful that week. So the Penn State week, that's the first game. Just because it's Penn State doesn't necessarily mean that we need to put an emphasis on them. It's just another football team, to be honest. But it did hit home for a lot of us because a lot of us were from PA, the seniors, and Hershey Walton, Kyle Friend, me, Tyler Mays, a couple other guys. I know Felton, Sal Major. We were all from PA, so we were guys that were never recruited from Penn State. And now that we have a chance to play them and shut them down, this is our time. I mean, and really, like I said already, all we had to do was our job. We didn't have to do anything special. It wasn't like we're playing, the almighty Penn State. Well, they have something to worry about, too. They were playing us. They're playing us in Philadelphia, so I was pretty happy about that day.
And then how about game day? Because you guys don't get to experience game day because you're preparing for the game. But when you hear Temple football gets game day and they release that promotional video with "We're coming to your city" playing and all that stuff, how about that?
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. I was roommates with John Christopher and Tyler Medikevich and Tyler Mays, and we were always just big college football fans in general. And when College Game Day was coming to our city in Philadelphia, we were pumped. We couldn't lie. We were super pumped, just like all the fans were. We were excited to be a part of it, but we knew that we didn't want to get caught up in the hype and caught up in the whole game day, because when it came down to it, it's just another football game. Yeah, it was exciting, and when it was time to play, we played football. So I think we had a pretty decent game that day. It was just down to like 2 or 3 plays, maybe one play that we could have pulled out a win there. But I felt pretty good about that day.
Yeah, they just made some big-time plays down the stretch. Fuller had that touchdown in the back right of the end zone, and then you also had Kavari Russell just undercut the route and just make a really good football play on that interception as we're talking to Brandon Chudnoff right now. But just going back to that Penn State game, Matt Rule went to Penn State. Elijah Robinson played at Penn State. And Elijah came in here 2 years ago, and I really think he changed the mentality of that defensive line. How did he do that? Because against Penn State, you guys had 10 sacks, and that's one of the best defensive performances I've ever seen.
Elijah's been a great mentor to me and my teammates. I mean, the season before that, we had gone through a big roster change. We lost a bunch of seniors in 2013, so a lot of us had to play through our redshirt year, and some of us had to play through injuries, like myself. But yeah, when Coach came in, he put a mentality that we're just gonna get off the ball, pass rush, and just be relentless. So every day, even when we were in the weight room, we would go outside, take a couple reps on our own. The captains, the seniors, we would make sure we all get a couple reps just reacting off the ball and the reaction time when the ball was snapped. So I think leading into the season, that really helped us out.
Now, you mentioned earlier that a couple guys had to play through their red shirt. I think a lot of the listeners do know what a red shirt is, but just you were one of those people who you were a redshirt freshman originally. So just what was that like, and what was that talk when you had to find out that you were going to be redshirting your first year?
I mean, being redshirted isn't necessarily a bad thing for a freshman coming in. It's it's actually an opportunity to get better. That's how I think of it, and I'm sure that's how most teams think of it. It's an opportunity for guys that just are to develop mentally on the field, develop in the classroom, because some guys aren't used to the college courses. It gives them a chance to catch up on schoolwork, to develop, get stronger, get faster, and those guys will be ready that second year. So.
And then just from a personal standpoint in practice, who was the hardest guy you had to go up against, and what was the hardest drill you had to partake in your time at Temple?
It's got to be the mat drill, right? Yeah. You guys hate the mat drill. I know that.
Yeah, the mat drill is definitely...
I was at that 5 a.m. practice once, and I remember, I'll never forget Matt Ioannidis walking into class, and he's like, "It's the mat drill. You don't want to know what it is."
That's actually exactly how he says it. Yeah, the mat drill, oh my God. No pun intended, Matt Rule, the mat drill. But yeah, the mat drills are something else. That's the off-season conditioning. That'll really test what your will is. So yeah, that's probably one of the hardest drills I've done at Temple. That's just a straight agility, and you have to be detailed in that drill, and it's a tough drill. As far as hitting at practice, anytime we had to go Oklahomas, any football person would know an Oklahoma drill. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, and then you got the running back. Anytime you go up against Kyle Friend, who's benched 41 reps in the pro day 2 weeks ago, anytime you're going up against that guy on the Oklahoma, that can get a little tough.
when he put up 41 reps of 225, and he's put up 46 before.
Yeah.
Which I need to see a video of that because that's tough to
Someone's
believe.
got it.
And then he came in the studio the next day and he goes, "My chest isn't even sore. It's honestly my legs." How does a guy put up 225 41 times? Because no one at the combine did that, and I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. 41 reps is outstanding. He has done more. We've seen him do more in the weight room when we test in the off season, when we would go, when we would have the 6-month off season, the workouts. But when he put up 41 reps, what an accomplishment for him on pro day, and what accomplishment for Temple University. When that went viral, I thought that was great. I know at this year's combine, nobody hit 41 reps.
I think the highest was. It was in the 34 to 37 range.
I think it was 37.
That. 37.
That was my recollection.
Because I remember
Okay.
I texted Heath Evans, who hasn't played in the league for a while, and I said, "This kid from Temple, Kyle Friend, put up 41 times," and he goes, "Wow." He goes, "No one at the combine did that."
Yeah.
So that's a tremendous accomplishment as we're talking to Brandon Chudnoff. And you've seen so many guys here at Temple, as you have 3 guys that could potentially be drafted this year in Matt, Tyler, and Tavon. And who knows if Robbie will catch on with the team, or Nate D. Smith. There's a bunch of other guys. Kyle's also another person that you take a look at. Though you've been really close with Tyler for all your time here at Temple. Has he at all changed from freshman year to senior year? Because to see him get the Bronco Nagurski Award, the Chuck Bednarik Award, and even through all that time, he's still all about the team, and he's such a humble person.
Yeah, I mean, just today, Tyler, I was at practice this morning. Ty's still down there doing the same exact thing he's been doing since the 2013 season. Earlier I talked about persistence. Well, that guy's been persistent every single day, and he's been the same guy every single day. So I saw him down there at practice today. He's coaching guys up, making sure guys are doing the right thing, yelling out to guys, making sure they know what they're doing. And he's not even on the team anymore. So you could see a guy like that, why he has so many awards and why he's had so many achievements. Because he's been the same guy. He does his job. He's a good guy to hang out with. I lived with him. He's been great.
The only thing that's changed is probably his neck size. That got a bit bigger. That got a bit bigger.
Yeah, I mean, when Coach Snow came in, he emphasized, and our strength staff came in. They really emphasized our necks getting bigger, because that helps out with concussions and all that deal. And yeah, Ty took advantage of that.
So before we let you run, you're doing some tremendous work now. Donation goal of $1,000. It's called Dodge for the Cure. Once again, Friday, April 1st. That's tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. at the Pavilion, and all the proceeds will go to multiple sclerosis research and awareness. Just tell us a little bit more about your involvement with this event and what you guys are trying to do here.
All right, so yeah, last year, my organization that I'm with through my kinesiology department, the health department, where I got my undergrad degree, they put me as the event organizer, and I figure, you know what? I've done so many community service events with Temple football, and doing all that, being at the breast cancer walk, going to schools, going to all these different camps, and being a mentor for kids and people that, all different types of people. I figured, you know what? Why don't I get together, round up a crew, and we'll do our own community service event, and we'll give back. So we got the football team, a bunch of other athletics, women's gymnastics, women's soccer, rugby teams on campus, campus recreation organizations, and then a lot of the kinesiology organizations, Temple physical therapy organization, the physician assistant organization. They've all been involved in the Dodge for the Cure, and yeah, like I said, we're giving. All the proceeds are going to multiple sclerosis. It's not like we're keeping some of it for our organization. Literally everything is going right to MS, and it feels great to give back.
Why do you guys give back so much? Because especially since Matt has come in here, you guys have that team commitment week, and you have a bunch of goals. You see the team out yesterday, along with the basketball team and a bunch of other teams, do walk a mile in their shoes. So, to you, why is it so important to give back?
I mean, all the opportunities that we've got at Temple and the great mentors we've had as coaches, we've always thought like, we've had such a great opportunity. Make sure that we always give that back to somebody. So that's why we do that. That's why we have so many community service events. Yesterday at the Walk a Mile for her, was it Walk
a Mile in her shoes.
Walk a Mile in her shoes. I'm sorry. That was the 4th year I've participated, and some guys have participated just as long, and the event's been around for about 4 or 5 years. That's been a big deal for us. Football and then athletics and then other people on campus, as far as sexual harassment and any type of domestic abuse. So that's a big deal to us at Temple University. We don't take that lightly here, and you could tell by the amount of people were at that event yesterday, Walk a Mile in her shoes, that we don't take things like that lightly, and it's a big deal for us.
Now, before we let you run, I have to end you here on a fun note. So you have a dodgeball tournament. In your time at Temple, let's say you could bring anyone back for tomorrow, and you could throw a dodgeball at them, whether it was a coach or a player or, a fellow student or something like that.
God.
Who does Brandon Chudnoff throw a dodgeball at?
Honestly, I've been roommates with John Christopher, the receiver, last year, and we would go at it, and we would compete in everything. We had class together. We would be in football together. The guy thinks he could beat me in a swimming race. He thinks he's the most athletic guy. I'm the most athletic guy.
There it is.
Me and him go one-on-one anytime.
I thought you guys were going to say Adazio. That's who you would.
Adazio. You know what? I had a feeling you were leaning me that way.
Hey, you didn't take the bait. I guess those times when they bring you in and they have those teachers come in and teach you how to talk to the media, you learn something. So, Brandon, though, great job out of you today. And once again, it's Dodge for the Cure tomorrow at the Pavilion, April 1st at 5:30 p.m. and it should be a great event. Thanks for coming in.
All right, thanks, Zach. Thanks, Mark.
There's Brandon Chudnoff joining us on WHIP, Philly's #1 college radio station. Time in the WHIP studios is 11:39. We'll take a quick break, and when we get back, Kerry Kittles will join us.